Again, our theme is the scope, the scale, and the sustainability of change. I want to read this. It's on the front of your packet. The African American Collaborative is the holding cell for the system responsible for igniting a thriving African American community. The objective is to help ensure that the dots, the success and transformation points within the system are connected and are aligned to the extent that African Americans get the most from the system. Organizers show up and participate because they value a system of transformation rather than standalone, isolated programming. Participants recognize that their organization or program is only one touch point within a broader ecosystem, and that alignment among programs increases impact. So the furtherance of today's program is about how do we work together? How does shared leadership, how does the components of shared leadership allow us to increase impact and allow for those who are experiencing inequities or inequalities to get the most from the system? Today, again, talking about the scope, the scale, and sustainability of change, Dr. Johnson, Mrs. Wallace, and Dr. Bayless. And to begin our conversation is Kyra Wallace, who will talk to us about the scope of change.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here, and we obviously appreciate your continued support of the Southwestern Michigan Urban League and the work we do in our community. So when we talk about the scope, we are talking about our community, which lends to community engagement. So I'm specifically going to focus on community engagement and various levels and what that looks like. So engagement is necessary and only takes place when community members influence decision making. They participate in making decisions and they co-govern their communities, okay? Community members must have ownership, authorship, and leadership level participations in order for the community to really realize diversity, equity, and inclusion. Basically building the field for community engagement. What we know is that there's an engagement pipeline. So there are various ways to engage in the community. You have the street level, where community members attend conversations, events, promotions, and that's what they do. So they're engaging in that way. But then you have keeping level, where community members converse about issues that affect their day-to-day and how they are key players. Okay, so they're discussing amongst others, but they may not necessarily be coming to those meetings, yet they're having the conversations. But then you have those indulging levels, where community members attend decision-making meetings. So now they've moved from that level of street level engagement where they're attending, but they may not necessarily be saying anything, to now they're going to indulge or engage, whereby they begin to attend those meetings that they make decisions at those meetings, right? So they're not just sitting there, they're engaging in the conversation, they're offering their opinions, they're giving suggestions, so they're indulged in that. So that's the indulging level. Then you have the career level of engagement. This is where community members are comfortable in decision-making forums and begin interacting. So on a slightly larger level, so they can participate maybe in panel discussions, or they serve on a board, if you would, in making those various decisions. And then leadership level, at the highest level of community members co-make decisions in community spaces. They also mentor and recruit community members for other levels. So that's the level that we're working through with the African American Collaborative, right? So we have individuals that's coming, they want to engage, they want to be a part, they're asking, how can I help? what can I do? So we have individuals who can mentor and train them and get them ready to be on boards, so that when they go to those spaces, they're comfortable sitting in those spaces. It still is what it is right now in Battle Creek in terms of board participation. There aren't a lot of African Americans sitting on boards within our community. And I can state that because I sit on several, and oftentimes, not everyone, but oftentimes the boards that I sit on, I'm the only one. So we're working towards changing that narrative. It would be nice to have 2 or 3 representing specific backgrounds so that those varying opinions can come out. You know, I hear this all the time, or I see this all the time, when an issue related to African American may come up at those meetings, everybody turn and look at me. And I'll be the first to